All right, good evening. It's your boy Big Rich. You already know how we get down holiday business. Hope everybody's still enjoying their weekend. Saturday night special. You already know how we get down. Really hope everybody's, nice and warm. It's cold in New York. There's a storm coming towards the East Coast. Get prepared. It is what it is. You know how they say winter is coming. I myself is going to conduct some business and then head over to families till Monday morning. So I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their weekend. Gangland exclusive by Jerry Capisci. You already know how we do. We throw respect on your name, sir. Thank you for the article. Gigante's daughter slams his grandson as he takes the witness stand for the feds. Desgracia. A mob style version of Family Feud broke out in the Manhattan federal courtroom last week. On one side was the grandson of the late Genovese boss, Vincent the Gigante, who took the witness stand to spill dirt about his uncle's role in a labor racketeering scheme. On the other were the uncle's two sisters, who showed up in court on Monday before Thanksgiving to defend their brother and give their nephew, Vincent Fyfe, the traditional evil eye. They also tossed in some trash talk of their own. As sisters, Lucia and Carmela Esposito, whose brother Vincent is stuck in the Garden State for another year or so, sat next to each other in the middle of the courtroom. One of them audibly called Fyfe a piece of shit. The outburst came amid the trial of Genovese soldier Frankie G. Giovinco, an old pal and alleged Esposito co-conspirator in the 15-year-long extortion of Fyfe, a powerful union president who got his first union job with the help of his grandfather back in 1995. The verbal assault came as Fyfe walked past his aunts during his first day on the stand, where he had implicated his uncle Vincent in an extortion scheme against Fyfe that began in 2001 and a kickback scheme with Fyfe between 2007 and 2009. The nephew also identified himself as a corrupt union leader since 2005, the same year Grandpa Chin Gigante died while serving prison terms for two separate labor racketeering convictions. When Fyfe, who kept his $300,000 a year post as president of Local 2D of the United Food and Commercial Workers Union despite pleading guilty to three labor racketeering crimes in 2012, ended his testimony on Tuesday. He implicated Esposito and current Genovese boss Liborio Barney Bellomo, allegedly, in making death threats against other union officials 2 years ago. Fyfe testified that in September of 2017, Frank Cognetta, the secretary-treasurer of Sister Local 1D of the UFCW, called and said he needed to meet me at the restaurant because his cousin had let him know that Steve Arena and others had said that if he doesn't pay something regarding an investment that he made, he felt his life would be in danger. Although Fyfe taped many talks as a cooperating witness, desgraciad, the government played 9 between October of 2013 and April 2015. He said he didn't have a recording device handy to record that one. Like Esposito, Cognetta and Genovese soldier Steve Mad Dog Arena have copped plea deals to labor racketeering charges and have already been sentenced in the case. During the meeting, which was the last matter that prosecutor Kimberly Ravner questioned Fyfe about, the witness testified that Cognetta mentioned that somebody had told him, I don't know if it was his cousin or Steve, that this was also coming from a boss, Barney Bellomo, up from Harlem, as well as from Vincent Esposito. Quote, he was upset, nervous, and concerned, said Fyfe. Have you ever seen Cognetta like that before? Asked Ravner. Not when talking about this type of situation, said Fyfe. Have you ever talked about a situation in which his life could be in danger? No, said Fyfe. That was the only testimony linking Esposito's control over Local 2D to his father's successor as boss of the powerful crime. But following Esposito's arrest in January of 2018, federal prosecutors argued that Esposito was a major player in the Genovese family, who once controlled the 3.8 million slush fund that the family used to pay legal fees and other expenses for its members. 546 recalled that he got his first job with Local 2D in 1995 after he graduated from Wagner College with a degree in sociology. His uncle Vincent drove him to meet then Union President Vincent D'Aconto when my grandfather made it possible for me to meet the president of the union and arrange for a job as a business agent, he testified. After Diaconto died of a heart attack in December of 2000 and a local 2D executive board named him as president, Five testified that he reluctantly went along when he was informed that I would have to pay Vincent Esposito $10,400 a year. He felt short in 2001 and 2002. I didn't have it, he testified, but that changed after Esposito met with him and told me that I had to make up the difference between the first 2 years as well as give the full amount going forward during a meeting on Manhattan's East Side. When Five told Esposito that he didn't want to pay, Esposito threatened me that if I didn't pay, that he was going to have me removed from what I was doing, Five testified. The words he used were, if you don't want to pay it or you're afraid, find another job. For someone whose granddad was a much feared mob leader, Fife often sounded like a babe in the mafia woods as he described his reactions. It was shocking to hear him say it, Fife testified. The way he was talking to me that day and the way he was coming off to me was threatening, and I was afraid not to believe it. I knew that he was associated with organized crime members. To make a comment like that, I thought I could be in danger. I was not told I had to do it when I went to work there, he said, recalling that Gigante was waiting a trial at that time. My grandfather certainly didn't tell me that. I was there to work. When I first heard of this and it kept coming, it was shocking. In the end, he testified Esposito got upset and told him to do what you got to do by taking the money from the union to pay his yearly tribute to him. Esposito's exact words, he testified, were, I don't want you to take it out of your own pocket, but you're smart. Figure it out. It was made very clear to me to pay, he testified. Esposito was angry enough that physical violence was a possibility. He was angry that I wasn't paying the full amount, Fife testified. He began to fear he was in danger because of Esposito's associates, the elements of organized crime, being around them. Fife said he made the payoffs in full each year from 2002 until 2011, and that beginning in 2005, he used money he stole from the union to help him make the $10,400 annual payment that Esposito demanded from him. That changed in 2012 when the FBI caught up with Fife and nailed him for his involvement in a kickback scheme with a corrupt union official from a sister union, John Fazio, the former secretary treasurer of Local 348 UFCW. Fazio was recently released from prison after nearly 80 years behind bars for labor racketeering. Fazio also made illegal payments to Esposito, Fife testified. Jesus, Fife is singing. From then on, after he pled guilty under instructions from the FBI, he only made partial payments as he taped conversations with Cognetta, Arena, and Vincent Diaconto Jr., an official of Local 1D who also copped a guilty plea rather than go up against Fife at trial. In several taped talks, including his only meeting with Giovinco on April 2, 2015, and his trial testimony, Fife consistently rejected efforts by Esposito, Arena, and others to hire Frankie G because he was convicted in 1997 of state labor racketeering charges involving the private carding industry. Hiring a convicted labor racketeer, even one whose mandatory 13-year-long ban from the union work had passed, was like raising a red flag that something illegal was going on in Local 2D, Fife testified. In addition, he'd been told by more than one person that he'd fallen out of favor and that Esposito wanted Frankie G, a convicted labor racketeer, on board to make sure that the extortion payments kept going up to Vincent Esposito, he said. All of those dirty deals using their hard-earned dues have been kept secret until now from the 1,600 liquor industry workers in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Washington, D.C., and Delaware who belong to Local D. Prosecutor Ravner told Judge Jed Rakoff while Fife was testifying that his agreement with the government called for Local 2D not to be notified of his corrupt activities until there were public proceedings about his years of illegal activity in connection with the Esposito case. Also kept secret was the fact that their president is a convicted labor racketeer who has pled guilty to crimes that began in 2005 and continued through 2011. Fife had also continued to collect his 300,000 annual salary from the union over the 7-year span of the investigation. If you're making $300,000, what's $10,000 as a tribute to Vincent? I'm just saying now. If you're making 300,000 a year, why go through all this for 10? You, you'll kill it with the overtime. Get out of here. This is crazy. I'd rather snitch. So no matter how Giovinco makes out next week when the jury is slated to decide whether he extorted money from Clifford Moss, a corrupt insurance broker, or took part in fraud or illegal kickbacks from Moss, if nothing else, the 1,600 local 2D workers now know officially that their president is a labor racketeer. Fyfe, who faces up to 11 years behind bars for his crimes, hopes to get no years in return for his cooperation with the feds. He also hopes to somehow persuade the union and the U.S. Department of Labor him keep his union post despite the mandatory DOL ban against that for 13 years. Nah, you're done. The sisters who spouted off in court against Fyfe also got a break. On Monday, the prosecutors notified Rakoff at sidebar about the derogatory remark that one of the Esposito sisters hurled at Fyfe, and the judge announced that it was improper and that a reoccurrence would lead to an ejection from the courtroom. But on Tuesday, after Fyfe's testimony was complete, the feisty Esposito sisters were at it again. While Fyfe was exiting one courtroom, they approached him. Ravner told the judge one verbally signaled to him to turn to them, and the other one called him a piece of shit, she said. Under brief questioning by Rakoff, Carmela and Lucia Esposito clammed up in a fashion that would have made their grandpa proud. Each denied saying anything to Fyfe on either day and left the courtroom without further comment. Jesus, you got day and age of snitching. You got blood relatives snitching on blood relatives. Minke, what is going on? I want to wish everybody a remainder of their holiday weekend, a happy one. All right? Eat, be merry, be safe. You're blessed and chosen. Everybody have a great evening. Salute.